the thing about FanDuel, and I think DraftKings too, is it was all about first mover. It was, you got the Supreme Court decision in May of 2018 and you were going live in July. And so a lot of decisions were made about how do we just grab share and grow as fast as possible. And for me, like, I'm an entrepreneur and I love building from scratch. And so what I saw at Fanatics was a really unique opportunity to do two things. One is take much more of a Silicon Valley mindset to how we build out the team. And so we've kind of built a team from scratch that really approaches it the same way any other consumer tech company would do. And we have the luxury of time to do that. And then the second thing that's really unique about Fanatics is we are a known and trusted sports brand as it is. And so our job in the gaming business isn't to talk about our brand, because our brand is incredibly strong. Our job is to simply say, by the way, Fanatics is a sports book, and here's why it's a better place to bet. And a lot of that for us is really about rewards and opening up the world of Fanatics through fan cash to all of our users. Because the reality of a sports bettor is they also buy merch, they collect stuff, they go to games, and because of the unique assets that Fanatics has, we can actually create a really differentiated proposition that helps just make the experience of being a sports fan better. How much juice is worth the squeeze? In what sense? Like, how much do you have to invest in the sportsbook side of this business in order to make the return on the investment worthwhile? So I think ultimately, it's two things. I think one is we want to be a top player. We think we can be a top player by having a great product and a great proposition. That requires material investment. And the good thing about Michael Rubin is he is not scared of making material investments when it's something that he believes in. And so our view is we want to be a top 3 player. But most importantly, we want to have an experience that people look at and say that's the best experience in the category. Christian, you're the president of the market share leader across the nation, and FanDuel says it's going to keep that lead because of scales of efficiency and the like. What's even clearer is that the parent company, Flutter, has made the U.S. a priority. It is the primary driver of growth and soon to be profits. And I'm just curious, when you look at Flutter coming in and saying, we're going to make our headquarters here, we're going to list on the New York Stock Exchange and make it the primary listing, what are they bringing to the table from Europe that informs not only FanDuel's operations, but what should inform the industry as a whole in the U.S.? What lessons does Flutter bring with it from Europe?
Yeah, so I think a couple things. That since 2018, which we were acquired by Flutter, then Paddy Power Betfair, right at the 2 months before we launched in New Jersey. And so I think it's been a really successful combination of, I think, the cultural DNA of the sort of core FanDuel team, and the people we've brought into FanDuel has been a really great fit with the folks that have started their careers and grown their careers in the various Flutter companies around the world. So I think that the two biggest things I would point to is, one, just an influx of talent. So we're bringing people in from Australia and all over Europe and different parts of the globe who have real years of experience in sports betting. They've tried things, they've made mistakes, they've learned from those mistakes, they've iterated on them. They bring that experience to a very young market where it's hard to find talent and people who have that sort of experience. And two, because of the years of investment in things like what was called same game multi in Australia, where Sportsbet, one of the Flutter companies, first launched the notion, and we all know it now as same game parlay here in the US. We have a bit of a lead coming out of the relationship with our parent company. Most of our technology is our own, and we have a tech stack sort of vertically integrated, where we do all of our risk and trading and our pricing and those sorts of things in-house, so we can really optimize the product that way. That is something that all comes from the parent company, and there's sort of a constant inflow and outflow. As for sort of the gravitational pull to the U.S., I think that's just a byproduct of where the opportunity lies. The U.S. is the biggest market in the world and will be.
Carsten, you're publicly traded. Are you happy with the way that the public market is valuing Sportradar?
Absolutely unhappy, Contessa. Absolutely unhappy. Well, I'm the founder. I own 33% of the stock. I must be unhappy, right? But I love competition and I love the challenge. Looking now to the market here, for us, the US is less than 20% of our revenue from a sports betting perspective. That shows you the global market there. We believe that the US sports betting market will be probably for us between 25 to 30% on maturity. That's the mix which we see. There are so many exciting opportunities in Brazil, in Japan. I believe there's a big opportunity in India. There's a big opportunity. Also, the discussion about the taxes. Well, I do this since 20 years. Believe me, I had so many tax discussions, and it's exactly like Matt said. If the taxes are getting too high, you will see a lot of money flowing out of that regulated system, and we all want regulation. Every operator I know wants to have regulation. So this is the only way how you can build a sustainable business. So from my perspective, we will see in a couple of years that this is synchronizing. Can't be in a way that New York and New Jersey have a difference of whatever, 15% in the taxation. We will see that this is sliding into a channel which is sustainable. I think the important one is regulation. The important one is integrity. We're all standing for the same value, and we are here in that market, and we are investing a hell lot of money. We all do this. And that is only possible if you have that regulated environment.
I only have a couple minutes left here, but I really want to draw out what this could look like. Marie, what do you think sports gambling in the United States will look like a year from now?
Well, I'll do what I've always done my whole career. I'll watch the customer, watch the sports fan. And I think in the next year, you'll continue to see the trends you see now, which is you'll see a lot more interest in individual athletes. We just launched, we're really focused on touchdowns. We launched this past weekend. It's incredibly popular with fans. I think you'll see women's sports. Our betting markets on, our betting handle on sports, on women's sports is through the roof. So I think you'll see, it's only a year, so I think you'll continue to see sports fans engage more. You'll see us focus and serve them more with more personalized bets and markets. I think you'll also see, I know for us, you'll see a lot more focus on AI, improving productivity behind the scenes, whether it be software engineering or responsible gaming, helping us with tools there. So I think it'll be incredibly robust and exciting.
Matt, 5 years. Christian, end of the decade. What do you think?
So I think in 5 years, I think one of the most important things is the way the user interface is going to change and evolve. If you look at some of the offshore guys like Stake or otherwise, their UX is totally different, partly because they are the ones actually appealing to that younger audience. And so, from my perspective, I think one of the things you're going to see in 5 years is continued evolution of how the UX of the experience actually looks to accommodate not just the guy will be 40 or 50 years old, but also the guy that's 20 today and will be 30 then, because they have very different expectations.
End of the decade, I think.
Which is really, by the way, the end of the decade is like 6 years, so maybe 10 years from now.
Sure. So what Matt said, and then also I would say, I think you'll see over 80% of the population in the United States have access to mobile sports betting.
And iGaming?
Not 80% for iGaming, but this is a sports betting panel. So, I think you'll see sports betting firmly normalized as part of the fabric of sports in a healthy way, because companies will have done the right thing to take care of customers. And I think we'll be in a good place. And I think Caitlin Clark will be no lower than the top 5 most bet upon athlete.
And Carsten, do you think that, I don't know, by 2040, that AI just wipes all of this out because it's so much smarter than anybody else who's...
You're asking the guy from us here who employed a chief AI officer as the first one. Very expensive from Google. But
I saw that.
I totally believe in it. On all elements, what we are doing, the data capturing, the data validation, the data application. So you are processing more and more real-time data. That's, I think, the trend. Make this appealing. And then getting to read something which you at the moment can't do. UI, I think, also very important, but that will work together. So that's how I see the market.